Right, let's all Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to do episode 1 of season 2 of Unlocking the Fretboard. So today we're going to go through the concept of building chords using the major scale. Okay, so it's not going to be a long lesson where we go through lots of other things. It's just going to be very specifically that thing, building chords using the major scale. So what this has two kind of implied bits of knowledge that you really should know, or it'd make your life a lot easier if you did know before you watch this video. So you really need to understand the concept of intervals. What I mean when I say specific intervals, particularly minor thirds and major thirds. I talk about this in season 1, so if you go and watch the first few episodes of season 1, you'll see me talking about that, and that would be very useful. And also linked into intervals is the major scale. Today I'm going to use just G major. It's the only scale I'm going to do. Next time I'll be moving around different scales, but today it's just going to be using the G major scale to build the chords that are within that key. And so if you don't know what intervals are and what intervals mean when I say specific intervals, if that makes sense, and if you struggle with what a major scale is, then watch season 1 of Unlocking the Fretboard first before hitting up this video on chords, particularly the first couple of lessons of season 1, where I specifically talk about the notes in the scale, the notes that we have in Western music and how we put those into a scale using intervals. Okay, so that being said, it's going to be a nice short lesson today because I'm basically going to go through the concept of how we do it, and I'm going to show you, that's all I'm going to show you. This is the concept of how we do it and this is what it means. Okay, and then next time we'll deal with more chords in a key and moving key and all those different exciting things. So next thing you see will be me playing guitar, close up of my hands, so you can see what I'm doing as I put these chords together. It's a bit of a weird lighting today. I don't know why I'm sitting here. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, intro done. Let's crack on then. So as I just said, all we're going to do is look at how we build chords using a major scale, which is kind of the basis for all chords. And what we'll also do whilst we're doing that is I'll be able to show you the difference between a major chord and a minor chord. Okay, because it's a very small difference between a major chord and a minor chord. So the first thing we're going to do though is begin to build chords in a key using a major scale. So the way we do this is we literally just stack every other note on top of each other. So what I mean by that is we just take from the normal scale selection, which is 7 notes, and then it goes back to the root G. All we do is we just take every other note until we have 3 notes, and then that gives us either a major chord or a minor chord. Okay, and that's it. Actually, there's also a diminished chord. Spoilers. So what does that mean practically? So let's do it practically and then discuss it a bit more, kind of what it kind of means. So practically it's this. This is my first note in the scale, G. It's a G scale, that makes sense. I'm then going to take the 3rd note in the scale, which is why we say, kind of call it stacking thirds. That's usually what people will call it. You'll hear it called that a lot. And I'm going to go up to this note, which is a B note, which is a major third away, which on a guitar you can see because it's got frets. It's like going from the 3rd fret G to the 7th fret B. So that's a major third gap. Okay, that's my 2nd note. And then all I'm going to do is go up, not the next note, but the note after that, which is a D note. So let's say it's every other note. So I'm now going to go up from a B to a D, which this is a minor third gap. You can see here, it's 1 fret fewer than I was just doing here. Okay? And those 3 notes are going to give me my chord. And in essence, that is how we build chords using a major scale. So what does that mean? Well, we know it's going to be a G major chord because the scale is the G major scale. But we can see that by the notes that we've got. We've got a G, a B and a D. So if we play a G chord, this is how I like to play my G, because I play a lot of Oasis songs. That's a G note, that's a B note, that's a D note, then a G note, then 3rd fret on that B string is a D note, and then we're back to a G note. So as I play a G major chord, it is literally only 3 notes, G, B and D. Okay? So that is practically what it looks like when you play those 3 notes that we take from the major scale as a chord. You can do obviously different shapes. We've got that E shape chord there, but it's still the same thing. I'm going to go through the notes again. We've got G. Okay, what's that? D. Then we've got G. Then we've got B. Then we've got D and G. Yeah, it's all the same notes. Okay, so those are the 2 real things to take from this. The kind of the basic concept. How do we build chords using the major scale? We stack every other note. That gives us 3 notes. That's what we're looking for. You can do more notes, but we're only going to do 3 to start with. And practically, how do you play that? Well, actually, they're the shapes we already know. We already know the shapes. We're now just using the theory to show why we have those shapes. Okay, I'm going to go through the next few chords within that same key. So this is the key of G. So I'm using the G major scale. So the second note is an A, and then again I'm not going to go to the next note B, I'm going to go up one more to C, so I've got A and C. Now we can automatically see that that looks different from this. You can see that I'm going from 3rd fret E to 2nd fret A, which I know is a G major chord because we've done that. What I've got here with this A, I'm going to go from 5th fret E string to 3rd fret A string, so I've got an extra fret gap. Now we can also do it up here and see that it's 1 fret fewer than we were doing there. So it's a minor 3rd. Okay, so this immediately, you can probably guess what this is going to tell us. It's going to tell us that this is a minor chord. Okay, that third note in the scale, the second note in the chord, which is called the 3rd, just to confuse you, tells you whether it's a major or a minor chord. It is the most important one other than the root note. Okay? And then I can complete the chord, so I've got A and C, and then from this C again I'm going to go up a 3rd, so it's not the D, it's going to be an E. We can see that that is a major 3rd because it looks the same there, so 3rd fret A to 2nd fret D is going up a major 3rd. So we've got this, A, C and E. Okay, so again, I can just show you in the chord. Here's an A minor chord. We've got A, open A. 2nd fret D is an E. 2nd fret G is an A. 1st fret B is a C. And then an open E is an E. And obviously it would be the same up there, the same notes. So it's the 3rd, which is what we call it, but it's the second note in the chord which tells us whether a chord is a major or minor. It's easy to see on the guitar because we have frets. So if it looks like this, or this, it's a major chord with a major 3rd, and if it looks like this, or this, it's a minor chord because it's a minor 3rd. Okay? Now as you can see, the difference between a major chord and a minor chord is only going to be basically that one note. Because when you're building chords, if anyone spotted this already, well done. When I'm building a major chord, I go from G to B, which is a major 3rd, and then from B to D, which is a minor 3rd. And then when I'm building my minor chord, I go from A to C, which is a minor 3rd, and then C to E, which is a major 3rd. So both chords end on a perfect 5th. So effectively, the gap, the interval between the root note and that 3rd note that we pick out, which is called the 5th, the perfect 5th in this case, is the same for a major chord and a minor chord. Okay, so the difference between any major, so for example G major, and its minor variation, G minor, all we change is that note. So we change in G major to take it to G minor, all we do is take that B and make it a B flat. Okay? It's easy to visualize here. There's my G major chord. You can see I'm holding down that B note there. Yeah? I take my first finger off, all of a sudden that G string is going to become a B flat, and I've got G minor. It's literally that one note difference. Now you can probably see that, you visualize that when you're playing, but that's the theory of it. It's the 3rd, which is what it's called, which, as I said before, is the second note in the chord when we're working it out using the scale, that tells us whether a chord is a major or a minor. Okay, so that's how we build chords using a scale, using the major scale, which is the basis for everything when we talk about keys, and the basis really of Western music. Okay, so it's quite a big thing. and then we can practically see that on a guitar quite easily. But also the difference between a major chord and a minor chord is only one note, and it's one fret of one note. It's a semitone move of the third. It's going to change whether a chord is a major or a minor, so it's a tiny thing. Just as another example, I'm going to do the next note. So the next note, I'm going to start now with B. I'm still going to stick to this G major scale. So we already know going up a third is going to go from B to D, because we've already done it within the G chord. We know that's a minor third. Aha, so we know, what does that tell us? It tells us that this is going to be a minor chord. Okay, so we already know it's a B minor. And then all I'm going to do is go up to that F sharp note, because that again, so there's my D. We don't want the E, we want the next one, F sharp. So it becomes B, D, F sharp, which is B minor. Okay, and that's literally how we do it. All we do is we just keep going. So the next chord, and then the next chord. Okay, and that's really where I'm going to start from next time, is we're going to talk about keys and things that are diatonic to the key. So quite a lot of information there, but hopefully it makes sense. I don't want to go through it too quickly. I want you to kind of think on this for a while. But I've already recapped it really effectively what we want. So I've shown you how to build chords using a scale, and I've shown you the difference between a major chord and a minor chord. And as I say, next time we're going to actually do all of the chords within a key. We're going to stick to G, and we're going to go through the chords that are within that key. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So your kind of homework, should you choose to accept it, I'm going to roll my volume down. Should you choose to accept it, is to try and work out all the chords that are in the key, within the key of G. I've already given you the first three. We've got G major, A minor, and B minor. Okay, and you can go on from there using each note. Oh, it's my cat at the door. Using each note to create the next chord along. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing you'll see will be my face. Wrapping up this video. Right, I've moved for the wrap up video. Just didn't like the lighting on the other one, although this isn't that great. I need to get some new lights. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that made sense. As I say, this is very much just phase one. It's just going through that basic concept of how we put together chords. Okay, and hopefully now you understand that a major chord is only 3 notes and a minor chord is only 3 notes, and actually there's only 1 note difference. So the difference between a G major and a G minor is literally just, it goes from a B note to a B flat. That's the only difference, you know. So hopefully that's one of the most important things to get out of this lesson, other than the actual mechanics of how we build the chords within a key, but also just seeing the difference between a major and a minor chord and how similar they actually are. Anyway, I'll do my usual spiel because I've just wrapped up the video. Anyway, let's do my usual spiel. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please like the video. It also really helps if you comment on the video. It really helps. People have been really good at doing that recently, and most people have been nice, which is very nice, which is great actually. It's very heartening. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel, again, that really helps. It makes a big difference for YouTubers. That's why YouTubers always ask you to do it, if you're ever wondering. And then I do also have a Patreon, so if you can go on there and you can help me out some more, help me get some better lighting, because this is rubbish. Yeah, feel free to check that out if you'd like to. And I'll just say thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon for some more guitar stuff. The next part of this will be in two weeks' time. Maybe slightly under 2 weeks, I'm a bit behind in the week, but that's what it'll be. And of course, if this is like a year from now, then they'll just be in the playlist and watch the next one and enjoy it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.